Chosen one, you are God's destiny assigned to destroy the narcissist so that they suffer. Have you ever felt an unexplainable weight resting on your shoulders, a quiet whisper insisting your pain was actually preparing you to be the one assigned to destroy the narcissist and ensure they suffer the consequences? You are not just an accidental victim who stumbled into their toxic trap by random chance. You are the chosen one, a divine instrument specifically designed by a higher power to completely shatter their illusion. They targeted you because they sensed a brilliant light they could never possess, a spiritual depth that terrified their hollow core. The narcissist believed they could consume your energy and leave you in ruins, but they made a fatal miscalculation. They failed to realize that your spirit was forged in a fire much hotter than their manipulation. Your very existence is the cosmic mirror reflecting their ultimate doom back at them. Every lie they told and every mind game they played was a desperate attempt to delay the inevitable reckoning you represent. You must understand that your suffering was never a punishment, but a rigorous training ground to build your unbreakable resilience. God placed you in their path not to be broken, but to be the ultimate catalyst for their downfall. You were planted in their barren life as a seed of pure absolute truth. The universe does not randomly assign this monumental task to the weak-hearted or the fragile. It selects the strongest souls, the chosen ones who possess the rare capacity to endure immense darkness without losing their innate goodness. When the narcissist tried to bury you under their endless deception, they inadvertently awakened a sleeping giant. Your authentic power is the exact weapon meant to dismantle their false reality. Many people wonder why the narcissist seems to get away with their horrific behavior while the innocent suffer in silence. The terrifying truth for the abuser is that their karmic debt has been accumulating quietly, waiting for the perfect moment to collect. You are the designated collector, the spiritual force chosen to ensure their absolute suffering. They brought this misery entirely upon themselves when they chose to cross you. Do not mistake your empathy for weakness, because it is precisely your deep compassion that makes you so dangerous to their twisted world. The narcissist operates in a shallow realm of superficial control and fleeting ego boosts. Your profound emotional depth acts like a tidal wave threatening to drown their fragile sense of superiority. They look at you and see the divine retribution they have secretly feared their entire lives. It is crucial to recognize that the narcissist does not experience suffering the way normal human beings do. Their agony comes from the complete destruction of their manufactured image and the loss of their absolute control over you. By stepping into your role as the chosen one, you strip away their mask and force them to stand naked in the harsh light of reality. This exposure is the most excruciating torture they can experience. God destined you to walk through the valley of narcissistic abuse so you could map the terrain and learn exactly how to dismantle their defenses. You survived their gaslighting, their smear campaigns, and their ruthless discarding phase. Now, armed with the undeniable truth, you stand as an impenetrable fortress against their toxic influence. Your unwavering boundaries serve as the invisible prison walls closing in around them. As you listen to these words, feel the immense validation washing over you, confirming what your intuition has always known. You were never crazy, you were merely reacting to the insidious evil that sought to extinguish your light. The tables are turning, and the spiritual scales are violently rebalancing in your favor right now. Embrace your sacred assignment, because the narcissist's suffering is an essential part of justice. This is the dawn of your profound awakening, the exact moment you transition from a wounded survivor into a powerful spiritual warrior. You are no longer bound by the trauma bonds they carefully constructed to keep you compliant and submissive. You are breaking free with a fierce determination that strikes absolute terror into their empty hearts. This journey requires courage, as we now dive deep into understanding their madness. To truly understand your divine assignment, we must surgically dissect the pathological behavior of a narcissist who tried to break you. They are emotional parasites, constantly scanning their environment for high-value targets bursting with empathy, resources, and genuine light. When they locked their sights on you, they saw an endless reservoir of pure energy to exploit. They mirrored your best qualities to hook you instantly. This initial idealization phase was a meticulously crafted illusion designed to bypass your natural defense mechanisms and earn your absolute trust. They wore the perfect mask, pretending to be your soulmate, your greatest supporter, and your safe harbor in a chaotic world. But this facade requires a massive amount of energy to maintain, and the narcissist is fundamentally lazy. Slowly, the charming mask began to slip off their face. The devaluation stage is where their true malice is unleashed upon your unsuspecting heart. They start introducing subtle criticisms, passive-aggressive remarks, and covert invalidations to systematically chip away at your core self-esteem. The goal is to make you doubt your own sanity, a sinister tactic known as gaslighting, which leaves you completely disoriented. They need you off balance so they can maintain total dominance. Narcissists manufacture chaos out of thin air because peaceful stability forces them to confront their own agonizing inner emptiness. They provoke arguments, twist your words, and play the perpetual victim to drain your emotional reserves completely dry. Every tear you shed and every frustrated reaction you express serves as twisted fuel for their monstrous ego. They literally feed off the pain and confusion they inflict upon you. Their profound lack of empathy is not just a psychological deficit, it is a spiritual void that makes them highly dangerous predators. They cannot genuinely care about your feelings, your health, or your overall well-being, because you only exist as an extension of their needs. When you attempt to express your hurt, they will viciously attack you for making them feel flawed. In their distorted reality, they can never be the villain. The narcissist utilizes a weaponized form of psychological projection to offload their intense shame and overwhelming insecurities onto you. Every horrible accusation they hurl in your direction is actually a hidden confession of their own disgusting behavior and dark thoughts. They call you selfish, crazy, and manipulative because that is exactly what they are. You become the ultimate dumping ground for their toxic psychological waste. When they feel they have extracted every ounce of your energy, they initiate the cruelest phase of the abuse cycle, the ruthless discard. They drop you with a chilling indifference that leaves you gasping for air, questioning how someone who claimed to love you could be so cold. This abrupt abandonment is designed to maximize your trauma and permanently shatter your worth. But this is exactly where their grand master plan completely fails. They severely underestimated the chosen one's capacity for regeneration and profound spiritual rebirth following total devastation. The narcissist expects you to remain utterly broken, crying in the dark and begging for their toxic breadcrumbs of affection forever. Instead, your spirit utilizes the intense pain of the discard as raw fuel for an incredible transformation. Your glorious resurrection signals the beginning of their nightmare. As you rebuild your life, the narcissist realizes they have permanently lost their primary source of superior emotional supply in control. This realization triggers a profound psychological crisis within them, a terrifying condition known as a deep narcissistic injury. They thought they were discarding a worthless victim, but they actually threw away their only lifeline. The horrific consequences of their actions are slowly settling in. Their pathetic attempts to replace you with new victims will ultimately fail, because the universe has uniquely marked you as their ultimate reckoning. No one else will ever tolerate their abuse with the grace and resilience you possessed. As their new relationships inevitably crumble, the stark contrast between your brilliant light and their current darkness becomes obvious. This brings us to the inevitable season of cosmic justice. The concept of divine retribution is not about petty revenge, it is the absolute spiritual necessity of restoring balance to the universe. When the narcissist deliberately chose to destroy a chosen one, they triggered a cosmic tripwire that cannot be deactivated. The protective forces of the universe are now aggressively mobilizing against them. Every single wicked action they took against you is returning to them with magnified intensity. God's justice is rarely a sudden lightning bolt, it is usually a slow, methodical dismantling of the sinner's entire false foundation. The narcissist's suffering begins invisibly, eroding their fragile sanity from the inside out while their external life appears normal. A deep, persistent paranoia takes root in their mind, whispering that their carefully guarded secrets are about to be exposed. They can feel the impending disaster coming. As the divine retribution intensifies, their superficial charm completely loses its magnetic power to deceive the people around them. The enablers and flying monkeys who once supported their delusions slowly begin to awaken to the harsh reality of their toxicity. The narcissist finds themselves increasingly isolated, stranded on an island of their own making. This profound loneliness is a terrifying torture for someone who needs supply. You must understand that your radical silence and absolute refusal to engage is the heaviest hammer of justice falling upon their fragile ego. By completely removing your attention, you are starving the beast and accelerating their agonizing spiritual starvation. The narcissist desperately craves your anger or your tears just to prove they still exist. Your total indifference erases their false identity and plunges them into an abyss. The universe is perfectly orchestrating scenarios where the narcissist is forced to face the exact pain they inflicted upon your gentle soul. Their new partners will inevitably betray them, their grand schemes will collapse, and their financial or social standing will crumble. They will frantically search for a way out, but all the doors they once manipulated open are now permanently locked shut. There is absolutely no escaping this karma. The suffering they experience is uniquely tailored to their deepest psychological fears and their desperate need for absolute superiority. They will watch from a distance as you thrive, achieving the very success and profound happiness they try to sabotage and steal. Witnessing your glorious rise while they spiral into utter irrelevance is the ultimate punishment for their arrogance. God is elevating you as a testament to their failure. Every attempt they make to launch a smear campaign against you now completely backfires, exposing their own profound malice to the world. The false narratives they spin suddenly lose their credibility, and the public begins to see the desperate, pathetic monster hiding behind the mask. The profound humiliation of being truly seen and universally rejected is a torment the narcissist can barely survive. The grand illusion is finally dying. You are the chosen instrument of this destruction because you possess the exact energetic frequency required to absorb their worst and survive. A lesser soul would have been completely obliterated by their psychological warfare, but you transformed the poison into pure medicine. The divine purpose of your connection was always meant to end in there. Complete unmasking in your magnificent liberation. The scales are finally fully balanced. Do not feel a single ounce of guilt for the immense suffering they are currently enduring, because it is the natural consequence of their evil. They were given countless opportunities to choose kindness, to offer genuine apologies, and to change their destructive ways. Instead, they doubled down on their cruelty and arrogantly mocked your profound grace. God is simply honoring the terrible choices they made with perfectly aligned justice. As you stand firmly in your spiritual authority, the energy cords connecting you to their decaying world are permanently severed forever. You are free to bask in the glorious sunshine of your authentic life, while they are banished to the cold darkness of their own empty mind. The divine retribution has been flawlessly executed, and your sacred mission is nearly complete. Now, we must examine the final stages of their internal downfall. The silent collapse of the narcissist is a horrifying psychological event that occurs entirely behind closed doors, hidden from public view. On the outside, they may desperately try to project an image of arrogant success and unbothered confidence to fool the ignorant masses. But inside their mind, a catastrophic structural failure is taking place, ripping their false self into millions of jagged pieces. The dark void is swallowing them. Without your high-grade emotional supply to sustain their delusions of grandeur, their fragile ego begins to violently cannibalize itself. They are haunted by invasive memories of your pure love, agonizingly aware that they threw away the most valuable treasure they ever had. This persistent regret is a toxic acid that slowly burns through their remaining psychological defenses. They are trapped in a hell constructed by their own hands. The narcissist's sleep becomes plagued by a deep, unshakable dread, a profound terror that they are fundamentally worthless and unlovable. They stare at the ceiling in the dead of night, stripped of their daytime distractions, forced to confront the terrifying emptiness of their soul. There is no genuine comfort available to them, because they have systematically destroyed every real connection. They are completely and utterly alone now. To cope with this agonizing psychological collapse, they often spiral into destructive addictions or frantic, high-risk, impulsive behaviors. They are desperately trying to numb the deafening silence left in your absence, frantically chasing any fleeting distraction to avoid the pain. But these shallow vices offer no real relief, only temporarily pausing the inevitable crash that waits just around the corner. The damage is irreversible. You, the chosen one, are the phantom that constantly haunts the dark, echoing hallways of their increasingly fragmented and chaotic mind. Every time they try to manipulate a new target, they realize the tragic inadequacy of the connection compared to what you freely offered. They are cursed to eternally compare everyone else to your shining standard, and everyone else will always fall miserably short. They are starving in a world of plenty. The horrific reality of their permanent psychological collapse is that it is a completely incurable and highly progressive terminal condition. They cannot simply go to therapy and learn to be a better person because they fundamentally lack the necessary hardware for genuine empathy. The narcissist is absolutely doomed to repeat this miserable cycle of idealization and total destruction forever. They are the architects of their own damnation. As their physical appearance begins to age and their superficial charm fades, their ability to easily secure new emotional supply rapidly declines. The older narcissist is a truly pathetic creature, bitter, profoundly resentful, and completely abandoned by those who finally saw the truth. They are left holding a bag of broken masks, unable to remember which fake personality was ever close to being real. The total destruction is now complete. This is exactly what God assigned you to facilitate by simply surviving their abuse and brilliantly walking away with your soul fully intact. Your ultimate victory was never about fighting them in the mud, it was about rising so high that their toxic arrows could no longer reach you. By thriving in your beautiful new reality, you have delivered the final, fatal blow to their miserable existence. The grand mission has been fully accomplished. Never again will you doubt your immense worth or question the profound spiritual significance of the terrible pain you were forced to endure. The universe carefully tested you in the most brutal fires imaginable, and you emerged as a magnificent diamond, completely unbreakable and rare. You hold the sacred power to banish the darkness simply by existing in your absolute, radiant truth. The narcissist is nothing but dust beneath your solid feet. The silent collapse of a narcissist serves as a permanent universal warning to any entity that attempts to consume a divinely protected soul. You have fundamentally rewritten the entire spiritual narrative, transforming a story of tragic victimization into a glorious epic of triumph. As their final remnants of sanity evaporate into the cold ether, we arrive at the ultimate realization of your journey. The eternal cycle now comes into focus. The realization of your sacred purpose brings a profound and unshakable peace to your spirit, effectively silencing the lingering ghosts of trauma. You now clearly recognize that every tear you shed was a necessary investment in the construction of your impenetrable spiritual armor. The suffering of the narcissist is no longer your primary concern, it is simply a cosmic background noise fading away. You have firmly reclaimed your life's timeline. Your absolute focus has shifted entirely toward the boundless expansion of your beautiful, authentic life and the cultivation of genuine joy. The brilliant light that the narcissist desperately tried to extinguish is now shining brighter than ever, acting as a beacon for other survivors. You are an unstoppable force of profound healing, radiating a powerful frequency that effortlessly repels any dark entities. Your vibration is infinitely high. By fully accepting your role as the chosen one, you have fundamentally altered the ancestral curses and toxic patterns that plagued your lineage. The immense generational trauma stops directly with you, replaced by a legacy of fierce boundaries, absolute truth, and profound self-respect. You are the sacred cycle breaker, the powerful soul tasked with cleansing the energetic bloodline of narcissistic rot. This victory resonates across all time. It is deeply fascinating how the human mind attempts to process the enormous gravity of such a divine assignment when looking back at the past. You might occasionally catch yourself wondering if the intense nightmares and the crushing betrayals were somehow a bizarre trick of the mind. But the undeniable suffering of the abuser stands as hard, objective proof that the battle was incredibly real. You fought an actual demon and ultimately won. Every single day you wake up breathing the sweet air of total freedom, you are actively driving another psychological nail into their dark coffin. They are paralyzed in their agonizing state of perpetual collapse, while you are dynamically evolving into the absolute best version of yourself. The stark contrast between your soaring flight and their catastrophic plunge is the truest definition of justice. The universe always corrects the balance. Embracing this powerful reality requires you to completely release any lingering attachment to the need for closure directly from the narcissist. They are fundamentally incapable of offering you a sincere apology or validating the horrific reality of the abuse they subjected you to. Your ultimate closure comes entirely from within, sourced directly from your profound alignment with God's perfect will. You are the author of your own grand ending. The magnificent spiritual altitude you have reached now offers you a crystal-clear, panoramic view of the entire intricate, deceptive chessboard. You can finally see how every agonizing move and every perceived loss was actually brilliantly positioning you for the ultimate checkmate. The narcissist thought they were the grandmaster playing you, completely unaware they were just a pawn in your divine ascension. The strategy is now quite clear. As your healing journey matures, the intense anger and burning indignation you once felt organically transmutes into a state of profound wisdom. You no longer react to their pathetic provocations or the desperate, flailing attempts of other toxic people trying to breach your solid peace. Your silence has become an impenetrable wall of solid steel, reflecting their own miserable darkness right back at them. You remain completely unbothered now. This deep, unending calm serves as the ultimate proof that you have successfully fulfilled your divine destiny and permanently shattered the cycle. The horrific suffering the narcissist now endures is completely out of your hands, perfectly managed by the flawless mechanics of cosmic karma. You are officially relieved of your heavy combat duties, fully permitted to finally rest in the warm embrace of pure love. The grand battle is entirely over. Yet, the mind is a beautifully complex landscape, endlessly reflecting upon the miraculous events that pulled you from the absolute brink of ruin. As you continuously integrate this profound wisdom, a fascinating meditation naturally arises, guiding your thoughts in a perfect, infinite circle. This unending reflection gently forces you to confront the very beginning of your sacred spiritual journey, drawing your mind deeply back to ask,